And number three, curiosity didn't kill the professor.
Let's go with the second one, the curious professor.
Okay. Good on you. That is correct. It is
Nice.
the cure. I was hoping that like the overemphasis on curious would make you think we were doing a Nutty Professor reference or something. But no, you are completely correct. It is the curious professor. And yeah, this was from the episode Journey to Authorship with Howard. I'm going to butcher this, and I'm so sorry in advance. Gershkowitz. I actually think I got it. I'm just going to pat myself on the back really quick. And here's our show description. Are you a curiosity seeker? Do you have a yearning to learn more about the wonderful world around us? Take a journey of discovery with the curious professor as she explores the intriguing people, places, artifacts, and natural wonders that spark her curiosity. A podcast for the curious at heart. Always be learning and be curious with Dr. B. So, cool stuff all around. Cool, like animated style on the podcast artwork. And yeah, neat stuff all around. Also, Alyssa, I need to know, was Dr. Geller a Friends reference?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you for that. Jumping over to our next contestant. Kristy, would you like to go next?
Yes, and my mic is working now.
I noticed. Yeah, I was going to ask if you had Phantom
I
on.
was like, cool, awesome. Yeah, I said hi, and then nothing happened. And I was like, I saw that I was unmuted, and I was like, okay, I guess just it's fine. Everyone's just going to be weird about me today.
We're all mad at you.
I was like, great. What did I do?
Don't speak for the group, Max, but if you need like a 10-second arbitration, we can squeeze that in.
Oh my God. Let me grab a thing. I'll do this again.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm still obviously on the journey as well. But I think trying to get to the place where you can openly and honestly say that you love yourself in a lot of ways is like the ideal goal. And having a bath and getting my nails done is not me learning who I am internally and being okay with who I am inside.
Yeah.
It's just me trying to mask how I feel inside by looking good on the outside.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually. I think it is so much deeper. I just think that it's not talked about enough, right? But it is so much deeper. It's like as simple, okay, having a bath is great, but why don't you like sit in, like just sit with silence, no phones, just sit and think. Think, and like that's what I do. Like I have a routine where it's like I reflect.
Okay. Here are your options, Kristy. Number one, Doom to Bloom podcast. Number two, Bloomin' Pod. And number three, Bloom with an exclamation mark at the end. So it's fun and festive.
I like Doom to Bloom. That's pretty good.
Okay. Clearly, y'all have done the reading before class today because you've all been correct so far.
Oh my God, it's gonna go straight to my head. This is great. Next week's gonna be very funny.
I want to retract so I apologize to everybody because I thought that these titles would be hard, but you know what? You're 3 for 3. I would like to formally retract my apology at this time.
That's wise. I would have doubled down on it just to psych everyone out personally. But at any rate, this is from episode 127. All caps on the title, by the way. I'm not going to yell it because I've already shredded my vocal cords clearing my throat, but I overcame the party phase of my life. Also with an exclamation mark to be festive. And here's our show description. Someone with lived experience of mental health, I know how daunting and stigmatizing it can be to discuss our struggles. Alongside my personal struggles, I've witnessed loved ones experience mental health struggles, trauma, and addiction. I'm an active frontline worker in social services and see the struggles daily in my professional life. Doom to Bloom's podcast vision is to raise awareness of mental health, trauma, and addiction, as well as to work to break down the stigma attached to these topics. Let's normalize mental health and our struggles. So, cool stuff, good cause. What else do you want in a podcast? Let's just jump over to Oliver next, shall we?
Okay, let's do this.
And this one is actually mean, Alyssa.
I have faith.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to link it specifically to aphantasia. I could just also be really bad with directions, which I do. I have a very poor sense of direction. I'm sure aphantasia somehow plays a role in that, but yeah, no, I could not draw my neighborhood for the life of me. If you ask me where things are and ask me to put them together, it would be totally useless.
Right. That's really interesting, and I can totally see how, you know, if you just grew up with this, it would come as a shock that there was a difference between, you know, the way you process imagery and the way that other people process imagery, because when's it ever going to come up, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know, when you think about visual-based learning, I don't know if y'all had this exercise in school where they'd show you an image and then they take it away and they ask you to describe. They show you a series of images and take them away and then ask you to describe what you saw.
Okay. There was your clip. And here are your options. Number 1, AG Banter. Number 2, AP Banter. And number 3, AT Banter.
Well, let's see. Aphantasia. Let's go with AP Banter for 500, Nicholas.
All right. AP Banter is incorrect. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was actually AT Banter. I don't know what the AT stands for, if anyone has any educated guess.
All terrain.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Every time I see AT, I just think of the walkers in Star Wars, so that checks out. Yeah, it's AT Banter. This was from episode 300.
The AT-ATs.
Yeah, the AT-ATs, the AT-ATs, or the ATSTs, you know. And this was from episode 382. Anthony Gutierrez and Fancy Asia. I really am sorry. I did not do the reading on how to pronounce those names, and it's showing. Here's a bit about this show. What's that?
Gutierrez?
Gutierrez, yeah. There it is.
It's spelled like it's like a very common.
Is it really? I've never heard that last name before.
I know what the
And
AT
people with
stands for because I used Google.
What does it stand for, Oliver?
Assistive technology.
Well, that makes a lot of sense given the subject of the show. Okay, thank you for that. And here's the description. AT Banter's goal is to celebrate and share stories of disability. Join Rob Meinalt, Ryan Fleury, Steve Barclay, and Liz Malone as they talk with advocates and members of the disability community to educate and inspire better conversations about disability. So there you have it. Jumping over, and we have a very nice, simple podcast art. I actually love when podcast art is super simple because it just, readability is a really important thing, you know? So just white background, clear text, little design on it. I love it. Now, on to our next and final contestant for the day. Jesse, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's see what happens now.
So they've had to take a different approach on their life and their mindset and how are they going to get well and move forwards. They always say to me, I said, what tools do you use? And they say, mind over matter, Linz. That's what I do. I've got to do it. I've got to get well. I've got to get my heart strong. So it's really thinking, I know mindset's a big word because, you know, our mindset isn't fixed. So we've got our growth mindsets and we've also, you know, we've got our mindset around our mental well-being as well. And our mental well-being changes significantly over the years. Like we can have bouts of depression and just sadness, and we have that dark cloud that follows us. Sometimes you ever feel like, I just don't know what it is. It's just something, I'm just feeling fed up. And if I ever feel like, my husband's like, clicked his fingers like, Linz, what have you got to be depressed about or sad? I'm like, well, I'm not saying I'm depressed, but there's something going on. I said, but I'm struggling.
All right, there was your clip, and here are your choices. Number 1, manifesting through motherhood at Busy Mom's Fitness Corner. Number 2, Go Mama Go at Busy Mom's Fitness Corner. And number 3, Mom Boss at Busy Mom's Fitness Corner.
I'm gonna keep this straight down the middle, looking for a strike here. We're gonna go for Go Mama Go.
So sorry, Gutterball.